none of you guys have studied in cotton, right? You did? Okay. So you also did? Okay. So actually there are 3 teams with cotton representation. And the gentleman here, I've had the pleasure of just meeting him before. He's from Calcutta, so we actually have a Calcutta-Guwahati combination, and he's a quiz master for the next quiz which is going to happen at the Assam Engineering College. And I learned that he actually used to read my column several years back, and he read it for 10-12 years.
Hello.
Hello everyone, this is Shamanna and I'm from Calcutta and working in a knowledge startup.
Hello everyone, my name is Sayan. I am a third year MBBS student in Guwahati Medical College and I am originally from Tejpur.
Oh, that's great. So a lot of Tejpur here. What he didn't tell you is that his startup is actually a quiz startup. It's knowledge and quiz startup, so it's like a true professional. I will start off not with a team question, but I'll start off with an audience question. And I will actually have, okay, there is some dumb prizes. There's a cupcake that I want to give to you. So, in Delhi, there's a place called Pandara Road. This is for the audience. There's a place called Pandara Road. So if you go to Delhi, it's famous for eating out. So there are good restaurants out there in Pandara Road. The question is not about the restaurant. Between 1975 and 1981, let me get the year correct. Yeah, 75 to 81. There was a person who stayed in Pandara Road in exile. Okay, this person stayed in Pandara Road in exile from 1975 to 1981, and this person later became the head of a South Asian country. Name the person. Yes. Dalai Lama, no. Yeah. Yes? No, not Aung San Suu Kyi. Yeah? Okay, anybody else? Easy question to answer. You can guess it out. How many South Asian countries are there? Okay, you want... Okay, let me give it to you. Modi. No, did not say so. You were close. So the first audience prize goes to?
My name is Vivek.
Vivek. Okay. That's a good one to start with, and I think it's always good to start off with an audience question. I have decided deliberately not to go in for PowerPoint presentation, which is really the flavor of the season, and I thought I'll actually do it a very old-fashioned way. So I actually picked up an antique pot here. This antique pot is a treasure trove. It has all the questions in here. And so I'm going to pick up the questions from here, and I'm going to ask the questions from this box. But however, there's an element of surprise, which is the first time it's happening in a DKB quiz. I've asked 4 quiz masters to join me in this quiz. So there are 4 quiz masters who will join this quiz, but the quiz masters are not here. They're not here. They're going to join. And I spent the last 3 weeks getting in touch with these quiz masters. So I told you that 1967 was the year in which DKB sir did the first quiz. And since then, there must be thousands of people who participated in quizzes. So I reached out to people who are now settled in various parts of the world. And I told them, would you like to ask a question and be a guest quiz master? So I've got 4 guest quiz masters here. The first one actually participated in a quiz in the 1970s. He was in Assam, he was in Cotton College, then Assam Engineering College, and he has very fond memories of Professor DKB. I don't know whether you know him. The gentleman is now based in Phoenix, Arizona, and you'll see him later in the quiz. Vishnu Prahanna Gogoi, he is going to be one of the quiz masters here. So that's quiz master number 1. Quiz master number 2 is a gentleman who works for the National Health Service in the UK. He's a doctor. He didn't study in Cotton College. He was in Central School, Khanapara, then went to JMC. Again a huge quizzer during this time. Vishnu Prahanna was a big one during this time. And this gentleman again is NHS. And so that's Gaurav Goswami. I don't know whether anybody remembers Dr. Gaurav Goswami. So he's one of the quiz masters. The third quiz master actually is an old school friend of mine. There used to be this program called Quiz Time, which Siddharth Basu used to do it. And we represented, me and this gentleman, Parthosit Borua, represented Cotton College in the Quiz Time 88. And so he's one of the quizmasters who joins me here. He's in Boston. He heads product for a tech company in Boston. So he's the third one. Fourth one is somebody's name who would be familiar to you because he not only quizzed, he was also a very prominent quizmaster. He is now a famous writer and currently is based in Vancouver in Canada. And anybody knows him? Moni Mugdha Sharma. That's the fourth quizmaster. So you'll have this four quizmaster who's actually sent in their video messages and questions, and from various parts of the world. And so this four quizmaster, since there are only four and not six, what I'm going to do here is when their questions come in, and one question will come at the end of every round, you will have to write the answers, okay? And then it will be corrected. So that's how it's going to go. There is a visual clue that I'm going to give in one round. So it will go with the last question and then the second last and so on and so forth. There's nothing so special about the visual clue except that you'll be able to see something and then hopefully make it more interesting. So that's the format of the quiz. 10 points for every answer, irrespective whether it's direct or indirect. And the quiz master's decision in this case will always be correct. I've done a lot of fact checking, but I might be wrong as well. But even if I'm wrong, I'll be right in this case. Okay, so that's the only one which I am using as a as some sort of measure to sort of give some sort of sanity. But I have done a lot of fact checking. So what I'm going to do here is that from this antique pot, which is probably 60-70 years old, somebody used to cook here or make tea here. I actually picked it up in Rajasthan. I'm going to pick up the questions one by one and I'm going to ask. Okay, so I don't know which questions are going to come up. So here is the first one. Okay, it goes to you.
A.
Where is A?
A, B.
Sorry?
A, B.
Okay, A, B, C. Okay, the question goes to you. I'm going to give names of 6 people. They're all famous people. And they were all part of the first cabinet of Jawaharlal Nehru. Okay? They are B.R. Ambedkar, S.P. Mukherjee, Shanmugam Chetty, C. Rajagopalachari, and Rafi Ahmed Kidwai. So they were part of the cabinet of Jawaharlal Nehru. What is so special about these 6 people? I am giving a name of 6 ministers in the first ever cabinet. C. Rajagopalachari, Rafi Ahmed Kidwai, Shanmugam Chetty, S.P. Mukherjee and B.R. Ambedkar. They were all part of Nehru's cabinet in the first ever cabinet of India. What is so unique about these 6 names out of the 14? So 6 out of these 14, they are unique. And so what is unique about these names? The question will pass in A, B, C like that. Okay, A.
Probably they didn't win the election, but they were members of the Constituent Assembly, and later on they went on to become cabinet ministers.
Good try. They did not win the election. They became members of the Constituent Assembly, but that's not the answer. That's not the correct answer. Yes. All the questions that I'm going to ask you, they are workable, and so you can actually work this question out. You have to guess something, since you are the defending champion. They are workable. Okay, I'll pass on. C. C is there. Okay.
They're the only non-congressy members of the assembly. Then.
Yeah, I'll give that question to you, and I'll tell you why it is significant. You will not find Nehru, when he put up his first cabinet, actually picked up 6 people from the opposition party, which is unthinkable today for somebody to actually say that I'm going to pick up 6 people from various opposition party. And so you had B.R. Ambedkar from the Republican Party, S.P. Mukherjee was from Jan Sangh, Shanmugam Chetty was from Justice Party, C. Rajagopalachari was from Swatantra Party, and Rafi Ahmed Kidwai was from Kisan Mazdoor Praja Party. So actually he said 6 opposition parties. I actually picked them up from our first cabinet. Unheard gesture at this point of time. Good answer. C. I'll go to B now. 10. So they get 10 points for every answer. Okay. B. So West Indians live in the Caribbean, right? Where do East Indians live? Indonesia. No, East Indians don't live in Indonesia. C.
Bombay.
Yeah, correct answer. East Indians mostly live in Bombay, and these are the original inhabitants of Bombay who converted to Christianity during the Portuguese time. So they're called East Indians. And there are two famous East Indians whose name you probably know are Michael Ferreira. He was an East Indian, not an Anglo-Indian. There's a very big difference. You don't tell an East Indian or an Anglo-Indian. Michael Ferreira and Lloyd Mendoza, who's a film music director. Team C is running away, so I would want somebody to catch up with them. Okay, let's see whether Team C is able to get this. Now, there is a particular dinner. It's a particular dinner. In this dinner, the special part about this dinner is that before the dinner, when you invite to this dinner, the question is Team C, I'm looking at you guys, the question is Team C. Before this dinner, you're weighed. So you actually weighed. So when you are invited for the dinner, you go to the weighing scale and they weigh you. Okay? After the dinner, they weigh you again. And unless you weigh at least 3 pounds more than what you were originally weighed after the dinner, it is considered as an insult that you haven't enjoyed the dinner or eaten your fill. Okay? So this is a dinner which happens. Now, if you're invited for this dinner, you can do this at your home as well when you invite your guests, but you're invited for this dinner where you're weighed before and after, who would be your host? Yes?
The British Royal.
Okay, they've got this. This is the annual Christmas dinner of the British monarch, the Queen before and the King now. If you are lucky invited to be part of that guest list, then you have to weigh yourself. Okay, I hope that this team is able to answer it before it goes to Team C. Okay, I'm going to give you names of two parents. You got to name the daughter of these two people. Okay, one of them is called Elizabeth of Saxony. That's the mother. The father is called Ferdinand of Savoy. Their daughter's name. So it's Elizabeth of Savoy and Elizabeth of Saxony and Ferdinand of Savoy. The name of their daughter is very familiar to the people of Northeast. Why? Yeah, that's a correct answer, Margarita. And I'm glad that there is at least one team which has been able to sort of, this team was running away. So Margarita, that's the name of the town which is given by the Italian engineer. Incidentally, Margarita, Queen Margarita also gave her name to Pizza Margarita. So she's given name not only a town but also Margarita Pizza. Okay, this is you now. Okay, there are only two national capitals. I'm looking at them, but this is for you. There are only two national capitals in the world where the people of the two capitals can see each other. So, you go to the capital, you can see the people from other capital. Only one such capital, two such capitals exist in the world. There is another one that exists, but people cannot see each other. But this one, you can actually see each other. Very, very unique. So you got to name these two capitals. You know, it's even rare for state capitals to see each other. I don't think you even have a state capital in India where you can actually see people from Guwahati cannot see people from Dispur cannot see people from Shillong, right? So which are the two capitals whose people can actually see each other? Yes.
Vatican City and Rome.
No.
Good guess.
Bratislava and Belgrade.
Bratislava and Belgrade, I don't think you can see each other. Bratislava is actually closer to Vienna. But you can't see Vienna from there, it's a 1 hour ride. Okay. You were the last one.
Yeah.
Bratislava and Budapest.
No, they're quite far away from each other.
Seoul and Pyongyang.
No, they're also very far away. Seoul and Pyongyang are also very far away.
We'll say Kinshasa and Brazzaville.
Okay, I'll give it to them. So the capital of DR Congo and the capital of Congo Brazzaville, Kinshasa and Brazzaville are separated by the Congo River. You can actually see each other's capital. Great answer. Is the round finished or last? Is that last? Okay, last. I'll have a visual group. Okay, this is the state bird of Mizoram and Manipur. I want the full name and I'll give you a clue about the state bird. This bird is actually named after a woman, and that woman's husband is a famous ornithologist. Name the bird, and I want a complete name. I don't want a partial name.
Should I answer?
Yeah, sure.
Hume's pigeon.
Yeah, that's a correct answer. Great answer. That's Hume's pheasant. Is actually named after Lady Hume, who's the wife of A.O. Hume. Other than the fact that A.O. Hume actually started the Indian National Congress, he was also one of India's foremost ornithologists. And now we are going to have the first video question. So can you please give a paper to everybody? The first video question coming out now, and this is from. Which one is this from? This one is probably from Gaurav Goswami.
Hello everyone. My name is Gaurav Goswami, and I am a doctor working for the NHS and live in the northwest part of England in an area called the Wirral. And this is Peninsula, and as you can see there, this is the Mersey River, and beyond that is the city of Liverpool, famous for the Beatles and its football. Can I just express my pleasure and privilege to be able to take part in today's quiz in the memory of the great Professor Dilip Kumar Borua, sir. When the name of Professor Borua comes to my mind, lovely memories come rushing back of my school and college days in Guwahati in the 1980s. Now, I don't have to go back again and tell you about Professor Borua's achievements. All of you know that. But what was most striking for me was Borua sir's smile, his modest and his self-effacing nature. I have been able to participate in many of the quizzes which Professor Borua was quizmaster, many debates where he was a part of the judging panel. And one of his greatest assets was his manner, his soft, gentle manner. He could make anyone feel very comfortable. When asking a quiz question, we used to come out with some outlandish answer, but Sir was never mocking. He never put you down, he was not intimidating. He had a very self-effacing and his lovely smile and put everyone at ease. Professor Borua cannot be replaced. Borua sir is always in our memory. And today, in this quiz in his memory, I say a silent prayer for his soul and his eternal peace. Today, my good friend Senjam RajSekhar gave me the opportunity to ask a guest question for today's quiz competition. Now, it's not a very easy job because I have to ask one question to a very august quizzing audience, and it's not an easy job, as you know. But being close to Liverpool, it can be obvious that I'll ask a question, something related to Liverpool. So, today's question in this quiz is as follows. Which are the two Premiership clubs which are based in Liverpool? I want you to please name those two clubs and also the names of their home grounds. Yeah? The two clubs which are based in Liverpool and what are the names of their home grounds. Have a lovely afternoon of quizzing, and thanks a lot, Senjam, for inviting me, and also the lovely memories of the great Professor Vijay Kumar. Thank you very much.
Yeah, a round of applause for Dr. Gaurav Goswami. Okay. No part points for this. There is no pound system, you just write the answers. Yes, there is no negative, you just write the answers, and so you actually, the answer has 4 parts, you've got to have all the answers correct to get it. Okay? Who's got it so far? Yeah, they've got it. They've got 10 points. This team has got 10 points. You got it? No? You got it? Yeah, this team has got 10 points. You got it? Have you got it? Okay, have you got it? Okay, so the answer, the two teams are Liverpool and Everton. So that's a two team, I think everybody's got it. I think Liverpool is the obvious one. And Liverpool plays at Anfield, which I think is the easier one. And Everton plays at Goodison Park. So two teams have got it. Two teams have got it, two other teams did not get it. And interesting, you wrote Anfield for both. The interesting part is that Everton was the earlier club and they actually used to play at Anfield. So in a sense they got it right, but they did not get the current one right. Okay, so after the end of round 1, can we have the points? Who's keeping points?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, sure. So at this point of time, Group C is leading at 40, Group D is at 20, and Group E and F are at 10 each. It's not such a wide gulf, and I think they got stumped by the last question. So two teams were able to sort of make some amends on it, and I hope it becomes more competitive as it goes by. Yeah, we'll reverse it. I don't want this team to pounce all the questions. I want it a slightly even field. Okay, it will start with you. Captain Subhas Saxena was the only passenger on a particular flight. This was Pitts 2A aircraft flight, which crashed on 23rd June 1980. Captain Subhas Saxena was the only passenger. Who was the pilot? 23rd June 1980, a plane crashed. This was a Pitts 2A, S2A. Yes?
Sanjay Gandhi.
Sanjay Gandhi, great answer, 10 points. Okay, this is another easy one. I hope you're able to get it. This is for you, right? If you go and have ice cream, you'll find that there's very interesting names which are given. So if you have Amul, they'll actually say Amul ice cream. But if you go and have quality walls, they will say frozen desserts. They will not say ice cream. So, we all call them ice cream, but there's a particular reason why one is called frozen dessert and one is called ice cream. Now, what is the difference between, and this is mandated by law, what is the difference between ice cream and frozen desserts? In fact, the same thing if you go, this is not the question, I'll ask you to figure out the question. If you go and look for fruit juice, it says fruit juice, but not everything can be a fruit juice. So you have fruit juice, then you have fruit drink, then in some cases you can't use the word fruit at all. So don't be fooled by everything that goes by the name fruit juice. For example, fruity does not call itself fruit juice or fruit drink. It tries to sort of do the opposite way by saying actually fruity. Okay, yes, what is the difference between frozen dessert and ice cream?
I think it's the usage of milk. So Amul uses milk, so it's called ice cream. And the other brands, like they use like some form of like dairy products, but not milk.
Plus added ingredients.
But the main like difference is like usage of milk.
I will give it to you. I'll give it to you. Ice cream uses milk. So Amul is the largest milk producer. They use milk. Quality Wall doesn't use milk. Actually uses vegetable oil. So next time you have Quality Wall's ice cream, that's not really an ice cream. That's a frozen dessert. 10 points to these guys. I think it's become a little competitive now. Who's this question to? Yours? Okay, this is a Guwahati question. You both are from Guwahati, and I hope you're able to answer it. If these guys, the Calcutta boys, answer this question, then there is a problem. Okay, it's half Calcutta. One is from Guwahati. Okay, I'm going to give you names of two places in Guwahati. This question you'll not find in anywhere. This is a question which I actually researched and figured out. Okay, so there's a place called North Boma. You heard of this place? It's actually near Bhetapara, where Dipankar stays. And there's another place called Kumarpara. Question to you is, what is unique about these two places? North Boma. Have you been to North Boma? No? Okay, have you heard of North Boma? Okay. What is common to North Boma? People who live in Bhetapara, Hatikap, this they'll be aware of this area. What is common to North Boma and Kumarpara? You want to guess something? You both are in Guwahati for some time.
There was a claim about being a Jyotirling being that in that place.
Okay, so there is a Jyotirling in both North Boma as well as. There was a claim, but about a Jyotirling being there. Okay, who does the question pass to? Okay. Okay, if you are able to answer this question, then he has to shift from Calcutta to Guwahati.
Just taking a random guess. We'll say that they're named after the profession that once stayed here.
No, that's not the correct answer. Good guess. They are named after the profession, and I hope this answer comes to the audience. Okay, maybe somebody will. Yeah. Okay. No, it hasn't come to the audience as yet. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Fast. Guess something. Yes, sir. Sure. You don't want to guess. You can jump in. Okay. Questions to you.
Probably the only two places which in Guwahati which do not fall in Kamrup Metro.
No, they both fall in Kamrup Metro. They're not in Kamrup Rural. Anybody else? Yours?
What? Artificial flood happens.
Artificial flood happens everywhere. Okay. Now this question is to the audience, and I hope somebody gets it. What is unique about Kumarpara and North Boma? Okay, I'll give a clue for the audience, and there are a lot of prizes here. There's a certain geographical feature which is very common across Guwahati, but it's unique to these two places. If you go to these two places, and you can figure out from Google Map as well, it's very unique that this place, these are the two places in Guwahati as far as I know, which has this particular geographical feature. Yes? Anybody? Take a guess. Has anybody been to Kumarpara? No? Kumarpara is here, just here. No? Okay, I'll have to give the answer. It's actually my favorite question of the quiz. So in Guwahati, if you go, you'll find a lot of Tini Ali and Sari Ali. Right? Yeah, this is the I'll give to them. This is the only place you'll find Paas Ali. 5 roads congregating in one section. Only Kumarpara and Modbana has it. I'll give it to you. I actually asked this question to a taxi driver and he was able to answer this question. Okay, who is this question to? So I'll give you names of 2 villages. Lenapur village and Verul village. These are the 2 villages. They are quite located like 100 kilometers from each other. They're not close to each other. But when people talk about these 2 villages, they talk of them together. Why? Lenapur village and Verul village. You will be able to guess this. This is a workable question. This is a workable question. 2 villages separated by 100 kilometers. But when you talk about these villages, you talk of them together. Yeah? Sorry, this question is to them.
What is the name of the second village?
Lenapur and Verul. Verul. Yeah. Vile Parle. Okay, at least he's thinking in the same thing. Where does it go to now? 2? Yeah. Defending champion go to back up. How many points do you have now? Sorry? Liverpool. You know, village is called Lenapur and Verul. How come Liverpool is coming here? Okay. Yes. Guess it, but you can guess it. Ramgarh? No, Sholay, no, it's actually no. Ramgarh ki Sholay is a village which is next to Bangalore. Yes?
It's a guess. I'm guessing that it might be the village of Nagaland, which is constituted both Myanmar and Nagaland, and same village, but this party's name, this party's name.
Actually, I'm afraid no, because Lenapur would not be a sort of a Naga name.
Is this somehow, like, I don't know, wild guess related to the origins of Mumbai and Navi Mumbai? So it's called Mumbai.
Okay, not Mumbai, Navi Mumbai. It's come to you.
There are 2 temples in this village which connected
To each other by road, cave, by a common deity. Okay. Okay. Teams finished? Okay. Anybody's got it?
Guessing
Andaman and Nicobar, no. Harappan, Mandara, no. Everybody's guessing in the right direction. Ajanta and Ellora, that's the correct answer. So Ajanta and Ellora are actually separated by 100 kilometers. And they are in Lenapur village and Verul village. But when you talk about, you don't say Ajanta alone, you don't say Ellora alone, you say Ajanta Ellora. Yeah, the chatpata mutter for you. Okay, who is this question for now? Are you the last? Okay, so you'll get a visual clue after this. Okay, I hope you are able to get this question. There is a town in the state of New Mexico in US, and the town is called Truth or Consequence. What is so special about this town? Sorry, Truth or Consequences. That's the name of the town. The town is called Truth or Consequences, and it is in New Mexico. What is so special about this town? You can guess It is guessable question. Yeah, sure. Go on.
Time magazine published from this.
Time magazine is not published from here. Time magazine is published from Times Square in New York. Sorry, no, it is not. Actually, New York Times is published from Times Square in New York. Time magazine is published from somewhere else. Yeah.
Probably Martin Luther King's tomb is in this.
Martin Luther King's tomb is not here. Where is it? Okay, the way the teams are placed, I think I get confused. You?
Yeah.
Maybe this is the area where Mexican gangsters finishes one others.
Okay, this is the favorite place of Mexican gangsters finish off their victims by cutting their fingers.
So I'm guessing like this is named after a game. The game is like Truth or Dare. So basically named after a game.
Truth or dare?
Yeah.
I will pass on. Goes to you.
I think this is the only place where there are two official names of the same place.
No, actually there are many places with two official names.
Maybe it's taken from a name of a board game, so it's pointed out to a map and then say that this is where Truth and Consequences was, and the real name also inspired from there.
Okay, no, it's little closer to that, and I'll tell you why. Everything finished? All teams finished?
Yeah.
It's a very interesting name, and it's related to whatever is happening today right now. That's the clue. Okay, I'll give it to you. I'll give this. It's the only town in the world which is named after a quiz show. So there was a quiz show called Truth or Consequences, which used to run on the radio. And on the 10th anniversary of this radio quiz show, the host said that, if there's any town that renames itself after the radio show, I'm going to host the 10th anniversary quiz there. So the town renamed itself as Truth or Consequences and has never changed its name after that. Okay, that's the last question, so we'll have a visual clue, right? Yeah, a visual clue for you. Yeah. Okay, this gentleman is not familiar to a lot of people across the world, but however, something which is named after him is familiar to a lot of people across the world because of Hollywood movies. Something is named after this gentleman, and whatever is named after this gentleman is familiar to a lot of us. The first time we actually saw this, heard of this was via Hollywood movies. You can either name the gentleman, but I guess if you know this gentleman, you'll be able to know what is named after him, or you can say what it is. So, question is to you. It's famous. Not a gentleman. Whatever is named after this gentleman is famous because of Hollywood movies. Yes.
LML Vespa.
LML Vespa and Hollywood movies. Okay, sure. Okay, that's okay. It's not Roman Holiday. He is not Mr. Vespa. Yeah. Okay, sure.
I think Oscar Stage 2 is named after this gentleman.
Okay, actually no. Oscar is not named after. Is not Uncle Oscar.
It is like Beverly Hills.
Beverly Hills. Oh, no. Okay. You?
The Dolby Theatre.
Dolby Theatre, no. MG, okay, no. I finished the round. Oh, you're the last one. Okay, Dolby, no. I'll give it to the audience, but I will now give you the name of the gentleman. I'll give the name of the gentleman, okay? I'll give you the name of the gentleman. You have to say what is named after him. The name of the gentleman is Ernesto Miranda. The name of the gentleman is Ernesto Miranda. What is named after him? Oh no, not for you. You don't get chapada, chutney. His name of the gentleman is Ernesto Miranda. What is named after him? Okay, next clue. He looks suited, booted, but he became famous after he got arrested. Ernesto Miranda. Anybody? Okay, I will give the answer. When you watch Hollywood movies, one of the scenes is a person getting handcuffed and arrested, right? In which the cop says, you have the right to remain silent, etc., etc. So those rights are called Miranda rights, named after this guy. Oh.
This guy was murdered, and then the guy who actually murdered him, he got out of...
Once he's going to tell the backstory of this.
Not a backstory.
And he's unhappy that he's missed the answer.
It's a funny story. So this guy was murdered right after he was in prison, and then the guy who actually murdered him, he got out of bail because of his Miranda laws. He said that I'll talk to my lawyer first, and I'll not tell anything. So this guy got a bail because of something named after him.
We'll finish the round, right? We'll have one guest quiz master again. Could you find Jhumri Talaiya?
Bihar.
Madhya Pradesh, no.
Bihar,
no.
To Jharkhand, no.
Maharashtra, no. West Bengal, no. Rajasthan, no. You will exhaust all the states by now, yes? West Bengal, no. Assam? No, okay.
Jhumri Talaiya.
No, that's not the correct answer, yes? Gujarat, no. Himachal Pradesh, no.
Jharkhand, no. Jharkhand.
If you were to go to Jhumri Talaiya, where would you go? I'll go to Jhumri Talaiya, where would you go? Anybody knows here? Jhumri Talaiya. Anybody here? Manipur, no. There are only 25, 26 states here. Somebody needs to get this answer. Sorry? Huh? Kashmir, no. Ladakh, no. Karnataka, no.
State, no.
Himachal, no. Sorry, Bihar has already said.
State, no.
Orissa, no. Arunachal Pradesh, no.
State,
Haryana, no.
It is state, no.
Somebody please get this. Jharkhand, yeah. Jhumri Talaiya is in Jharkhand.
I got a Bihar.
Hi, my name is Manimutha Sharma, and I live in this beautiful Canadian city of Vancouver. Right behind me, you can see the famous Cone Harbour of the city, and this is the broad inlet of the Pacific Ocean. And I'm right now standing at a very historic place because here, back in 1914, a ship had docked, a Japanese ship called SS Komagata Maru, and ever since then, a memorial has been built at this very spot. And it's hard to imagine this place, so all the time so beautiful 100 years ago. There's nothing like it, but this place made history because 376 people of South Asian origin, most of them from Punjab, they spent 2 months at this place, hoping to land and enter the city, but Canadian immigration laws back then were so harsh towards whites that they eventually could not come to the city, and they were forced to turn back, and they made an equally hard voyage back to India, where eventually they landed at Mudbudge, which locals call Mudbudge in Calcutta, and police were find there when over 20 people died as a result of police robbery. So it's a very tragic episode of Indo-Canadian history, but very momentous episode nonetheless, because in 2016, over 100 years after being famous incident happened, the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, he apologized in the Canadian House of Commons for that atrocity. university that happened weeks ago. Today, Canada is a very different place. It welcomes immigrants from all over the world, and South Asians and from Punjab, they dominate. And Punjabi is one of the 4 recognized languages in this country. So yeah, that's this beautiful place, and you can see this memorial has been built with an actual image from that episode. These 4 people, they were stranded on that ship for 2 months without food, without water, with a tremendous backlash between the people on the ship and the Canadians, the white communities, who eventually forced them out. Now, the city now is very sensitive about this history, and they created this memorial, and you can see the names of some of those people who were there on that ship. And Kokodata Maru happens to be a very important part of Canadian history today. All South Asians are supposed to know about it who come here, not just to Vancouver, but all over Canada. And you can see all their names. And the city has preserved that history very well, as you can see. I have been in Quizza, as you know, and which is why you're seeing me in this quiz. And I have very fond memories of Professor Dilip Kumar Borua. In fact, my quizzing journey really began with him when he hosted Maggie Quiz. And I was part of my school team, and that was really the first time I saw him face to face, and we managed to win the quiz that year. And after that, I wished to be part of an institution where he teaches in, which was Cotton College. And I really thought that I would actually end up studying in the college, even though I did not take economics, but I did secretly attend some of his classes. And in quizzes subsequently, whenever I was a participant or I was an audience member and I managed to answer a question from the audience, he would actually introduce me as his favorite student. So I'm very grateful to Professor Dilip Borua sir for all those wonderful memories, and he was really instrumental in my quizzing journey, because the first quiz that I participated in had him as quiz master. In fact, my interest in quizzing also had a lot to do with him, because he used to host those quizzes on Doordarshan in the late 80s, which I used to watch very diligently as a child. So I would like to thank Rhonda for this opportunity of asking of giving me the chance to ask you a question. So here I'm going to ask you something from India's past, and it's about a city. Now, this city was originally founded as Khargi, and in the 16th century. But when the original founder died, it was renamed by his son as Fatehnagar. And after a conquering force took over the city, it was renamed once again by a very famous prince. And more recently, it has been renamed a 4th time. So you have to tell me, this question will have 2 parts, so you have to tell me how this city was known from the 17th century, from at least 1653 onwards until 2023, and how it is known today, because it was renamed very recently.
Okay, so this question has 2 parts. This question has 2 parts, and there are partial points for the answer. Okay, this is fine. So the question has 2 parts. There are partial points. Khargi was the original name, and then Fatehnagar was the next name. You have to give the 2 consequent names after Khargi and Fatehnagar. So you got it? Yeah, sure, they have got it. 10 points to them. They have got it as well. How about you? Not ready? Tell me when you're ready. Have you got it? No? You got it? No? You got it? You got 5 points to them. 5 points to them. They've got half as well, 5 points to them. They've got half, yeah, 5 points to them. So the city, which was called Khargi and then Fatehnagar, later became Aurangabad and is now called Sambhajinagar, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. So that's the new name. Okay, a lot of people got Aurangabad but didn't get Sambhajinagar. Okay, now we will move on to the
Scores.
To the next round.
Scores.
Scores. Let's see who's where. Okay, so a little more competitive from last time. Team C is in lead on 50 points. Then you've got Team D at 30. And then you've got Team F at 25. And Team E at 20. So there is some good fight going on for the second, third and fourth position. But I'm sure there is at 50 they're not very safe either. Okay, who does the question start from now? Starts from you? Okay. Okay, I'm going to ask you about a favorite person it's to you. Favorite person of the tech world, everybody's talking about him, a gentleman by the name of Elon Musk. Elon Musk is now the owner of Twitter. He's also the owner of SpaceX and is also the owner of Tesla. But however, he also owns another company, which is a very interesting company. We're telling you what the company does. And the company is called the Boring Company. What does the Boring Company do?
Drills means exploration of.
Yeah, I'll give it to them. It's called boring machine. It actually is into boring. It's into tunnel boring. It's into drilling of tunnels. I'll give it to these guys. It's a very workable answer. It's a boring job as well, but I guess boring is a very apt name for it. Okay, who's the next question to? On to you. Okay. So there's a gentleman by the name of Treble Engelson. He's an actor and a producer. What is the name of his first wife? The first wife of Trevor Engelson. Marilyn Monroe. She married 4 or 5 times, but I don't think Trevor Engelson is the name of his. Yeah. Who does it go to? To you?
Meghan Markle.
Meghan Markle. That's the first wife and Meghan Markle's first husband, Trevor Engelson. Okay, who is the question going to now? To you? C. Who's the only person to be hanged in the last phase of the Quit India movement? Who's the first person to be hanged? Who's the last person to be hanged in the last phase of the Quit India movement? Aa Ko Kho is the correct answer. Okay, the question is now on to you. In 2004, the lingerie maker Victoria's Secret actually ran a TV commercial. And the TV commercial featured a future Nobel laureate. This ad was called Angels in Venice, and it was for a new collection called Dream Angels Collection. Name this future Nobel laureate. 2004, Victoria's Secret. A future Nobel laureate appeared in this ad. Very uncharacteristic for a Nobel laureate, future Nobel laureate, or any Nobel laureate to actually appear in a lingerie ad. But who's this person? Yeah, sure. It's a famous name. It's not an obscure name. Any guesses? No. Okay. Comes to you. Bob Dylan, that's the correct answer. Is it a guess? Brilliant guess.
বিখ্যাত হ'ব লাগিব কুৱেশ্যনটো এইটো নাছিলে গায়কৰ কাৰণে কৰি কুৱেশ্যন বনাওঁতে ফ্ৰেম তেনে
Okay, who's the question to now? To you? Okay, one of the most famous photographs of post-independent India was not taken by a professional photographer. It was taken by a name called Harbans Lal Seth. One of the most famous photographs. I'm sure everybody in this room has seen this photograph. Which particular photograph are we referring to? The person who took the photograph is Harbans Lal Seth, and this photograph, everybody has seen this photograph, post-independent India.
After Mahatma Gandhi was shot, assassinated, then he fell.
Okay, I think there were a lot of professional photographers there at that point of time. It's to you now. You should guess something. Why are you passing? It's a photograph that you have seen, everybody has seen. For all you know, you might just be answering the question. Like Bob Dylan. No? Okay. Goes to you. Goes to you. Yeah. Nice photograph. Sorry? Oh, okay. Pass goes to C now. Who does it go to? C. Indira Gandhi's assassination. No, I don't think there's a picture like that exists.
Nehru's history press me speech.
Okay, no, that's the last one. Yeah. Okay, who's got the? This is a photograph everybody has seen. It's a photograph. No. That's not the one post. I said post-independent India. No. This is a photograph everybody has seen, and the photograph is of somebody signing a document.
Oh, Niazi.
Transfer of power, no. I will give it to him. It is General Niazi signing the the document for surrender. That's the photograph taken by Harbans Lal Seth. Yeah, please give it to him. This is the last question. We'll go for a visual question. Can we have a visual clue? Before the visual clue, I'll ask audience question again when he puts the visual quiz, and I'll give actually 2 prizes here. I asked you a question on Jhumri Talaiya. Now I'll ask you a question on the global Jhumri Talaiya, which is Timbuktu. In which country?
Mali.
Mali? Okay, here.
Thank you.
Oh. Okay, who is this question to? Question is to you. So this is a very famous picture, the Vitruvian Man by Da Vinci. This picture is actually of a gentleman by the name of Vitruvius. Okay? The question is not to do with this. The question is to do with Vitruvius actually was an architect and a writer. Now he wrote a book which was the first ever record of a very famous scientific anecdote. Which scientific anecdote are we referring to? Vitruvius, he wrote a book. So he is like 60, 70 BC. Da Vinci actually thought, because he was perfect proportion, that's why Vitruvian Man, but it's got nothing to do with Vitruvian Man. This has got to do with a book that the gentleman wrote. What are we referring to?
I think the person, if a person, his hands are like this, his head is same to his hands.
Okay. Are you aware of the scientific anecdote? No? Okay. Okay. Goes to 1. Okay.
Probably the first time he said that the earth moves around the sun.
Earth moves around the sun. Now, who does it go to now?
B.
You?
B.
Why are you passing this question? See? Yeah. So I'll give it to you. This is the discovery of Archimedes' principle, the most famous scientific anecdote known to everybody, which is that he was in his bathtub when he discovered the Archimedes' principle, and he got up and went to the streets shouting "Eureka!" So this is the guy who actually wrote about that anecdote. True or false, we don't know. We will now have a
Namaskar and greetings on a cold and windy day here in Boston. My name is Partha Borua. I'm standing in front of the Boston Tea Party Museum, as you can see the background. First, I'd like to pay my respects to Professor Sri Dilip Kumar Borua, who was near and dear to all of us. We had so much fun participating in quiz in Assam in the 1980s. A period I personally like to call the golden period of quizzing in Assam. I have so many great memories of the great man, but something unique that I clearly remember was how he used to consider an answer that we would give to one of the questions. And he would give us a smile and pause, and giving us hope that the answer was correct. But in his inimitable and lighthearted way, tell us. That inspired us to believe in our best to provide a precious amount of information about each and everything in the world. May his soul rest in peace. Now, we cannot match the lofty standards what he said, but I'll give it a try. I have a question and I'll read it out to you. The Boston Tea Party was a seminal political event in 1973 that spurred the American independence movement. The colonists were angry at Britain for imposing taxation without representation, and they dumped 90,000 pounds of black tea imported by the British in companies of China. The Time magazine compared awarding the Man of the Year in 1930. What was the event and who was the terror? Good luck, everyone.
For those who didn't answer this, I'll just read out the last part. The Time magazine compared this with another seminal event in India.
Okay.
While awarding the Man of the Year in 1930, what is the event and who was the Man of the Year? And full points for both the questions. There's no half points here. Yeah, they've got it. Yeah, they've got it too. 10 each. Yeah, they've got it too. 10. They've got this too. They've got this too. You're the only ones who hasn't got it, so you better get it now. 1930.
Come on.
So, Time magazine compared this with another seminal event in India while awarding the Man of the Year in 1930. What is the event and who was the Man of the Year? Okay, no, they're the only ones who hasn't got it. So Mahatma Gandhi and the Dandi March. Mahatma Gandhi was the Man of the Year from 1930. So what I'm going to do is we'll just have one more round because I think we are going slightly, behind schedule for the benefit of the people who participate in the next quiz. So who does it start with now? Starts with you. Okay, easy question for you. Easy question. What is the difference between dacoity and robbery as per the Indian Penal Code? What is the difference between dacoity and robbery? All robbers are not dacoits, all dacoits are.
Just guessing, robbery is what happened to you outside your home, and dacoits come to your home and loot.
Inside the house is robbery, outside the house is dacoity. Next, do you?
Just take a guess. So I'd say like robbery can be done by like one person, but equality it needs to be a gang. So basically a gang holds you, and then demands for ransom.
You have to be more specific. Oh, demands for ransom.
Yeah.
No, you're not ransom.
Like, but it's like it's a gang versus individual thing.
Okay, I'll give it. I'll give it to them. For dacoity, you need more than 5 people. They've got the essence right. So less than 5 people is robbery, not dacoity. 10 points to this team. Okay, the question is to you. It's very interesting that till 2003. So there are 6 people who are nominated to the Rajya Sabha every, by the president. Till 2003, there were no sports people. So you had writers, you had dancers, etc. So in 2003, who became the first ever sports person to be nominated to the Rajya Sabha? Nominated.
So we'll say PT Usha.
PT Usha 2003 now. To whom?
There. See.
Anju Bobby George. Is she a member of the Rajya Sabha? I don't think so. But how do you know? He actually fought an election and lost. Who?
BB.
To you?
Tara
Singh, very underconfident. Tara Singh, what is the right answer? I think this team needs some bucking up. Just, you are going in the right direction. Okay, now this is to whom is this question? To you.
D.
Okay, if you travel to Malaysia, Indonesia, South Asia, so you eat, in a local restaurant, you will actually find something called Assam laksa soup, and it's very popular there. And even when it travels to various parts of the world, it's actually called laksa soup. But but there it's called Assam laksa. It's got nothing to do with Assam. Now tell me, why is this soup called Assam laksa soup? It's got nothing to do with Assam. I'm sure a lot of people in Indonesia, when they have it, don't even know that there is a place called Assam. But it's called Assam laksa soup. I can tell you the ingredients of the soup. It's coconut milk, noodles, rice. It doesn't make a difference to the answer. Why is it called Assam laksa soup? Are you guessing? No. Are you guessing?
Just name from the old name like Siam and everything. Corruption of Siam.
Corruption of Assam, Siam. No, it's not. Yeah. Pass. You should guess something. No? No idea?
Probably it was introduced there by Robert Bruce, who founded tea.
That's a very interesting connection. Robert Bruce introduced the soup. It is not the correct answer. Yes?
Probably the local term for chef is like Assam.
Okay, anybody here, or should I give a... Okay. Yeah, it is. A key ingredient of that soup is Assam. That's right. I'll give it to him. Anybody wants to know more about that? Okay, give both of them answers. I'll tell you. Okay, this is interesting. It's not Assam, it's Assam. It's either called Assam or Assam. And the key ingredient of that is not imli but mangosteen, which is called thekera here. And that's the one that gives the taste to that dish. So that's why it's called Assam or Assam laksa soup. So that's the origin. But if you go to Indonesia, next time go to Indonesia, Malaysia, just figure out the menu. You'll actually find it pleasantly surprised to see Assam laksa soup there. Great answer. Okay. Team C. China is now a big force in the Olympics. So they actually end up number 3, number 2, number 4, etc. at the Summer Olympics. But from 1956 till 1980, they did not participate in the Olympics. So from Melbourne Olympics right down to 1980 Moscow Olympics, they did not participate. The first time they participated after many years was actually in 1984 Los Angeles Olympics. What was the reason why China did not participate for so many years? Guessing?
Yeah, I would say because Russia was participating for the first time in 1984.
I don't think they really have a dispute with Russia in 56 and what does it go to?
B.
B? Okay. Cold War? Yeah, some kind of Cold War, but not really the answer, yeah? You can guess it. It's very guessable.
Because the Olympic Committee allows Taiwan to participate.
I'll give it to them. The dispute was about Taiwan, but the name Taiwan. So actually, China said, I will not participate till this country is called Taiwan or Republic of China. So right now, in 84, they actually said it's going to be Chinese Taipei and the People's Republic of China. Only then they consented. So that's the correct answer. Good answer. Okay, who is the question now to? To you, and I hope you'll get it. So you heard of Mirzapur? Have you seen the TV Netflix series Mirzapur? No, you haven't. Okay. So this is on the Mirzapur Lok Sabha constituency. 1998 and 1999. Who represented the Mirzapur constituency in the Lok Sabha? 1998, 1999, I think there were 2 elections happening simultaneously. That's why there's only a gap of 1 year. But there's one person who represented the Mirzapur Lok Sabha constituency, and by winning the seat both in 1998 as well as 1999. Who is that person? It's a person who's well known. Vajpayee? No, I don't think he ever came to Mirzapur. Goes to you. He's a very famous person.
Subramaniam
Swamy. I don't think he ever contested elections. Who does he go to now? Kalyan Singh. No.
This is a wild guess. Is it Amitabh Bachchan?
Not Amitabh Bachchan. That was Allahabad. Rajesh Khanna. No, that's New Delhi constituency. Poolan Devi. That's the correct answer. Picture clue, yes? Okay, this is an easy one. I hope you get it. Who is it to? To you, you will get this question. Okay. You know the name of this bridge? What is the name of this bridge? Yeah, okay. The question is simple. Why is this bridge called the Golden Gate Bridge?
The rays of the sun fall there, it's a golden.
It's a golden hue when the rays of the sun. Unfortunately, no.
Guessing probably it might be related with that fact that gold rush was there, so people come there and have to go with this bridge, gold rush.
Okay, not gold rush. I'm happy there are answers coming on thick and fast. Yes.
Because the nickname for California is the Golden State.
Yeah, it is, but that's not why this bridge is called. Who does it go to? C?
D.
D, U.
The nickname of San Francisco city is the Golden Gate.
That's what they said.
We'll say it was first colored in a golden color.
Yeah, it was first colored. No, it was not. You exhausted?
Yeah.
Okay, last one. Your guess something, everybody's guess. It used gold. Okay. The most valuable bridge in the world. Yes. Why is this bridge? This gentleman is great. You gave him some more prizes. He has all the answers. Sorry.
Golden Gate, they trade with Orient.
Something to do with trade? No. It's actually a very easy answer. It's a very logical and easy answer. The problem is for most of us, and I also figured it out later, is that it was so obvious that you don't think that is an answer. Why is this bridge called the Golden Gate Bridge? It was not constructed to commemorate Golden Jubilee. I'll give you the answer. You know this body of water which you see on which the gate is, on this the bridge is built. That body of water is a strait, and this strait is called the Golden Gate Strait. So it's simple. It's named after the street. Okay, that will be the last question of the quiz. We'll keep it at 4 hours because it went on for very long, and he's actually getting a lot of calls from the organizers of the Assam AEC quiz. It's a video question, but before that, I will ask an audience question from here. This is not for you guys. Audience question. So there's a gentleman called Syed Wajid Ali from Pakistan. He served as a model for something which is very recognized worldwide as very uniquely Indian. Syed Wajid Ali from Pakistan, he served as a model for something very uniquely recognized all over the world as Indian.
Masala tikka.
What? He served as a model for a character. So let me put it this way. He served as a model for a character. That character worldwide is recognized as very much to do with India. Yeah, give it to him. Air India Maharaja with his moustache was actually Syed Wajid Ali. Can somebody give him? Okay, yeah.
Since I left India for the United States, where I now reside. So it was a pleasant surprise for me when I got contacted by Senjam RajSekhar, who wanted to ask me if I would be interested in participating in a quiz competition in memory of Professor Dilip Purwa, who was one of the foremost quizmasters in Assam and the Northeast. I agreed, and that's why I'm talking to you today, right now. So, just a little bit about myself. I started, in Assam, in Central School, Ambari, when it was near Vrindavan, and studied in Cotton College, Assam Engineering College, and then I came to the United States to do my graduate studies and have been an entrepreneur ever since. So, when I was in school, I participated in quiz competition in the schools, and then in class 9, I was selected to represent my school in an inter-college competition organized in Cotton College. It was there I first saw Professor Dilip Purwa, who was one of the quizmasters. Although we did not win, it was really nice to see the series of questions that Professor Purwa asked to us and other teams. It was really fun and entertaining and quite informative. After finishing class 10, I decided to join Cotton College in a pre-university class, which is now called the higher secondary, of class 11 and 12. And so we participated in the freshman social quiz competition as a team. There were 3 of us from our school. Professor Brito Worldwide, who is now in the Guwahati University Department of English, Sanjay Sapra, an entrepreneur, myself. This time we won, and we had a lot of fun in participating in this quiz competition, which was held in the Union Hall. Since then, we were quite a fixture in the Assam quiz circuit, and we encountered Professor Purwa many times. His questions were always very informative and entertaining, and it was a challenge to find out the source of his information and from where he gleaned these very interesting facts. I have very fond memories of Professor Kimborwa, and I'm very glad to be participating with you, and also the other competitors who are later partners in this really fun activity. So that is my memories of Professor Borwa, and I am now going to ask you to.
He's actually asked me to, requested me to ask the question, so please write it down. You're not writing because you already won? No, you have? You're ready to go. Okay. What astronomical origin is explained by the big splash? What astronomical origin is explained by the big splash? This is the big splash and not the big bang. Can somebody actually put in the visual clue? Actually, there's some prizes. I just want to make sure that we exhaust the prizes.
Dipankar,
can you just put on the visual clue when these people answer the questions? What astronomical origin is explained by the big splash? Got it?
Next one.
Got it?
Aisha?
No. Okay. No. 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 Okay, the answer is a creation of the moon. So according to the big splash theory, Earth